It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Happy Monday, everybody. Big Monday show as usual. Voice TV Jim Ward, hour number 3.
Maximum Mookerage.
Right, there you go. Rude Pundit, Eric Kohler, the whole Big Monday show. Oh, thank God we barely got through last week. Wow, stressful. And then, you know what happened at the end of the week?
What?
I almost ran over my neighbor's dog, Lauren Barkall, but I did not. But that would have been if I had
There would have been 2
killed
tragedies.
right in the same week
Regarding
that she
a
lost
Barkall.
her namesake.
Yeah.
She ran out, and I stopped, and I didn't know. I was, like, looking at the thing. I'm like, I don't have a neighbor named Lauren. And then my neighbor ran out, and he said, oh, no, that's Lauren Barkall. Okay. Anyway, the good news is Lauren Barkall is fine. Oh, look, that thing's printing finally. Isn't that awesome?
That's
okay. What the is going on in Ferguson? Let's do the update. So the governor has called in the National Guard now, despite another night of violent protests in Ferguson, Missouri, where 7 people were arrested, 1 person critically wounded.
Yep.
After a curfew was imposed from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m., Governor Nixon said a solid step forward has been taken. These pictures, they are just upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like there's
the truth that
there's kids getting tear gassed.
Yeah.
There's like, as someone described it, little itty bitty things in strollers. You know, there's little.
Right. Chris Hayes almost got maced.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Police used tear gas and smoke grenades to disperse a group of protesters who had defied Nixon's curfew. You know who I love is this. Did you see Captain Ron Johnson talking? He was amazing at the the rally for Michael Brown. I just thought that was one of the best decisions. He's just I think he's been amazing.
It's like when they brought in General Honore. To help with Katrina, you know.
Right.
It looks like someone's in charge and someone who looks like the community.
Yeah, and a lot of talk. Obviously, we talked about this Friday, but they have got to stop the militarization of the police force. It's what for? I don't even get, like, why would you need tanks and military? I mean, what's with the assault rifles? What are you going to do? This is not war.
No.
These are people, like you said, in the community that want answers.
Yep.
And, that's what I loved is just the footage of Captain Johnson walking among people and actually giving them answers. There were people yelling at him. Did you see that one? There was a person with a mask, and he yelled at him, and he started talking to him. Yep. And he takes the mask down, and then they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's,
if you treat people like people, they won't act like animals.
Early Sunday, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder ordered the Justice Department to conduct an independent autopsy of Brown. You know what? I read just preliminarily this morning. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is going to make it better. He was shot several times and twice in the head. And the thing that seems significant to me is they're saying it's not at close range, which would kind of belie the officer's story that he was, in his face and struggling for his gun.
Right.
Meanwhile, Nixon said the Ferguson Police Department's release of the surveillance video that purportedly shows Brown robbing a convenience store had an incendiary effect on the community. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that was completely unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Because I think they were just trying to counteract, like saying who the officer is. But look, he might have. Well, as we said Friday, okay, even if he did, you don't get the death penalty.
No.
For
without a trial.
Petty theft, right? So, yeah, I mean, it absolutely was an effort to smear this kid. When you release pictures and you clearly are attempting to besmirch the victim of a shooting, shot down in his own street, a young man is what do you call it? I spoke to him for his family, so, excuse me. Nixon admitted the heavily armed presence in Ferguson during the first few days of protest fueled the unrest. All of us were thunderstruck by the pictures we saw. The over-militarization, the IMRAPs rolling in, the guns pointed at kids in the street, all that, I think, instead of ratcheting down, brought emotion up. Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
And that's why I made the unique decision to bring in our highway patrol to have a local captain, Captain Johnson, from that community, which he has been, to put a different face on law enforcement there, and I think it's paid off. And, by the way, not because he's black, because he's awesome.
Yep.
I mean...
He's in charge.
Yeah. I mean, he
listens.
Right. Here he is, Captain Johnson.
I'm sorry. I wear this uniform, and I should stand up here and say that I'm sorry. I love you. I stay tall with you, and I'll see you out there.
Yeah, and he spoke as a parent.
Yep.
I mean, I just thought he really, that's exactly what we need. We talked about this Friday about the militarization, but it reminds me every time we get in this gun control debate of that. Those weapons are meant for war.
Yeah.
They're not meant either for this use or for normal people to have them on the street. Every time we have one of these mass shootings, this is why a general says these weapons are meant for war.
Right.
They're meant to kill as many people as possible. What are they doing in a community policing?
Right.
And tanks.
Right. Those weapons are meant to kill the enemy of the United States. When you turn those weapons on the people of the United States, you make the people of the United States the enemy.
Right. And just because you can have them doesn't mean that you should.
Right.
Is the whole point. All right. You know I like to get to the good news and that is Rick Perry indicted. This is what it's. Oh, somebody tweeted. I think it was Dave Weigel. Romney 2016 still not indicted.
There's that.
I think that's all they're going to have left because I think Christie's going to go down soon. And I love this. There were some tweets. Some say you people are behind this. Brian Fisher of the Family Association tweeted, I've just received credible information that the DA who indicted Governor Perry is an open lesbian. Abuse of power, anyone? And our friend Steve Marmel, the comedian, he tweeted, Brian Fisher, I've just received credible information that you're a despicable loon who no one will remember in 100 years. Oh, Rick Perry.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he may be in, another house by 2016. Who knows?
Hello, I'm Rick Perry. I see indictments coming, they're coming from the bench. I might not see the sunshine for I don't know when. I'll be a fool in prison, I'll be the cell block dope. And I must take extra care now not to drop the soap. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, no photo ops with Hannity, especially with a gun. I shot my mouth off in El Paso to see my chances die. As those indictments keep a-moving, I hang my head and cry. Ladies and gentlemen, the three departments I would eliminate: commerce, energy, and justice. Whoops.
Thank you, Rocky.
Rocky Mountain Mike.
Come on. That was pretty brilliant.
That was good.
All right. Oh, and by the way, you know what is leading to further divisions in the country?
What?
Stephanie Miller.
That's right.
What did you do now?
Well, we all did it. You're a part of this.
Oh, Lord.
Dennis writes, Dear Stephanie, for years the raging debate in our great nation has been Ginger or Marianne. Now, thanks to you, the debate has changed to Jackie or May. A nation divided.
How about both?
No, skirmishes online. Jackie or May.
Why not both?
Sure, why not?
That solves that.
But you know who no one loves?
Who?
Stephanie Miller.
That's right.
Why?
Hate letter. Well, it's not really a kind of a, again, all of mine are half and half a little bit. This is from Howard.
All right. Hi, Howard.
He just signed it Howard. Howard. No salutation.
Of course not. He gets right to business.
Right, just a brief critique. Your on-air voice and presentation sound so bad, I just knew you were some ugly fat nag. But to my surprise, you are beautiful. Such a waste of beauty. Howard. Howard.
Howard.
Just Howard.
Okay. Well, at least you're hot.
Okay. Thanks, Howard. Okay. All right. And the I don't know who won the internets over the weekend, but I know who lost.
Who?
The Republican douchebag of the week. It's the end of a long, sad week about Robin Williams. That guy from Minnesota, because he didn't apologize.
Oh, yeah.
Even Gene Simmons, who said depressed people should just kill themselves, at least then he apologized some ridiculous long, if you were offended kind of thing.
After Nikki Sixx took him to task. Oh, God. Yeah. When Nikki Sixx takes you to task, you know you stepped over the line.
Right. And then there was Rush Limbaugh, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the Minnesota guy, just double down on Twitter, making it all about liberals and whatever.
Okay.
But I just loved. This was my favorite comment thread after that guy. They posted all of his tweets.
Okay.
Someone wrote, Robin Williams did more for the homeless in the U.S. than all the Republicans over the past 40 years combined. Plus his USO work. So that's a lot of F words. And nicely used, in my opinion. Someone else wrote, Jesus, if the framers had been able to see how their vaunted free speech is being exercised today, they'd find themselves in the deepest throe of near-suicidal depression also. Why so sad, Patrick Henry? The future of politics is filled with gibbering half-thoughts made up of language so insultingly degraded it almost is unrecognizable. Just give me death. He's saying Patrick Henry instead of liberty. Okay. Fields, that's the guy, the RNC twit. Fields also managed to work in political correctness, and free speech means you can't be mean to me. Got to admit it, to be that much of a jackwagon takes true dedication.
I like that word, jackwagon.
That's what I was saying. Extra points for using jackwagon.
Yep.
All right. I watched Dead Poets Society last night.
Did you cry?
I did.
I've never seen it.
Captain, my captain.
I've never seen it.
Really? Okay, well, get on that tonight. By the way, last week on our Twitter feed, someone said you've selected Flubber. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Because that was an old bit of the show years ago.
I don't remember what bit that was.
When Jim did his first bit on Movie Phone, he always selected Flubber.
Yes.
And he didn't mean to.
Because Flubber was in the theaters at that point. That's how long ago that was.
Yes, and that was the running joke of that, is no matter what you did, you always selected Flubber. All right, all right, indeed, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Okay, 18 minutes after the hour, lots to get to. Latest out of Ferguson, much more as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it, 23 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere to join the party. Rude Pundit coming up at the bottom of the hour. StephanieMiller.com, you can email us all there. Carol did. Chris, Steph, sorted Mukic, love you all, love the show. Been listening since Bush was in office. I know everyone has said this, but you have kept me sane.
Aw.
I continue to be astounded by that, as lightly tethered as I am to my own sanity. Here's my question, though. John Fugelsang, you spoke of John Fugelsang's brother and an online directory for inexpensive counseling, and I couldn't find that info on your website. Often patients come to me for various reasons, or friends in the neighborhood seek my advice. I'd love to connect them with this invaluable service. We put it up on our Facebook page, and we can do that again, correct?
Yes, we can do that again.
Okay. Yeah, because it is a great... it's a resource to get people therapy at a reduced cost who really need it. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say crazy. I'm just going to say I'm looking for things to be grateful for before we get back into the Ferguson.
Okay.
Not just Rick Perry indicted, but Sarah Palin is not president.
But she has a TV channel.
Because, you wonder what she would do about Iraq and all, don't ya? As you recall from Game Change, and this was an actual thing that happened, she said, well, what I'd do is I'd tell the Queen to help us out and get some more troops over there. And then someone had to say the Queen is actually not in charge of England. Favorite moment? Oh, who is? It's awesome. Awesome. So someone says, Steph, 90 seconds of gibberish.
Yep.
Sarah doesn't want troops in Iraq, but then she wants troops in Iraq. Go big or go home, because the Lord will do it. If not, the troops will do it, because ISIS is Obama's fault. More grammar, strange sounds between her words. And this is right before the show Cooking Meth and Moose Boogers and Wasilla, I believe, on the channel. But
that's all they do there.
These are her thoughts.
Yeah.
If she were commander-in-chief.
And thoughts?
I am always loath to see a deployment of our troops. Trust me. I mean, some days I wake up thinking, maybe I'm the conservative version of Cindy Sheehan. Once in a while, I've thought that under this commander-in-chief.
Yeah, except you didn't
Barack
lose
Obama.
Your son, but okay.
I really thought, no boots on the ground. But times are different today. Since this utter chaos has ensued, and this has been on President Obama's watch. Well, I sincerely don't want to see us have to go back to Iraq. However, it's imperative that we put a stop once and for all to ISIS. If I were in charge, if you were in charge, that would be your call too. We got to put a stop to this. It must be the goal here. They're far, far too dangerous to leave unchecked. The swift advance of ISIS reminds us that the only thing preventing the triumph of barbaric forces like this taking over countries and killing innocent people, it's the military might of the United States Armed Forces.
Oh, okay.
President Obama, we need to go big or go home in stopping ISIS.
Oh, okay.
No half measures. Stop them there before we have to stop them anywhere else.
Here we go.
Who can do this? Who can do this? If not God's hand of protection that we ask for, the only force that can accomplish this, President Obama, is the United States military.
Okay.
She makes no sense.
Okay. So your strategy would be what then? Exactly.
To not do something, but do something.
Right. She doesn't want to go in, but go big or go home and also do something, which the president is doing. He just did airstrikes, but okay. All right. So that's.
And Kurdish forces have retaken that dam.
Right.
From ISIS.
Did I mention that she is not commander in chief, which again is something.
Thank you. But she could have been.
Okay, just so we watch so you don't have to.
No, you make me watch.
That's right. Exactly right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, meanwhile, back in our own war zone in Missouri.
Or Missouri.
Captain Ron Johnson, Missouri State Highway Patrol. Love him.
When this is over, I'm going to go in my son's room. My black son. Who wears his pants sagging, wears his hat cocked to the side, got tattoos on his arms, but that's my baby.
So the Ferguson police released this robbery video despite DOJ concerns.
Yeah.
So it allegedly shows Michael Brown robbing a convenience store. Critics lashed out, saying the footage's release was an attempt to disparage his character,
right.
Which it was. Department of Justice found out about the video earlier in the week and asked the police not to make it public. According to CNN, DOJ was worried the footage would spark more violence in Ferguson, which I think it did. On Friday night, mayhem hit again as cops sprayed crowds of protesters with tear gas. There was some more, some more looting. But
yeah.
It just, everything they've done so far just seems to make this worse. It's, first of all...
Everything the cops have done.
Yeah.
The Ferguson Police Department.
Well, right, because first of all, it's like, as everybody has said, and the other thing that was confusing is they made it seem connected. Well, then they had to correct and say this officer didn't know.
Right. And so
that this kid may or may not have been involved in this.
So why did they release it?
Right. And why did he shoot him, more importantly? Yeah, exactly. 29 minutes after the hour, back with Rude Pundit next on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Voice CD Jim Ward coming up hour number 3. Eric Bowler, top of the hour. Very exciting Monday show as always. And look who's here. Yeah.
Sleep Papa, the Rude Pundit. Pundit.
Good morning, Papa.
Good morning.
How was your weekend, sir?
It was good. It was good. I walked down the middle of the street and didn't get shot.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that is a good day in America these days.
It is.
Yeah, we've been talking about this obviously all morning, and I was saying everything they've done so far in terms of the police department just seems to be making it worse. They've released this footage of the the convenience store without. I mean, we still again goes to the question: why was this kid shot? And thus far this autopsy, from what I've heard, I don't know if you've heard it yet this morning, doesn't sound good. I mean, he was shot multiple times, twice in the head.
Mm-hmm. Right. Twice. In fact, he was shot through the eye and then shot again. And so, it was, and the autopsy also shows that there's a good chance that his head had to be forward, and also they probably had to be on his knees.
Right.
To get shot in the way that he did. And it's interesting because none of the shots are to the lower body. So, showing that maybe, he was on his knees.
Well, And also, I was saying again, obviously investigation just beginning here, but also from what I've read preliminarily, it does not appear to be a close range. So wouldn't that belie the cop's story?
Right. Well, anybody, the only thing that I think was that the cop said that there's at least one shot inside the car, but even that's up for dispute. And again, there's multiple witnesses corroborating each other, people who don't know each other, all telling the same story of what happened. So, and, all having come forward, multiple witnesses.
Yeah.
There's so many things that they could have done in Ferguson to show that they really gave a damn about this, and including immediately, arresting. I don't know what they could have. Could they have arrested the cop? Could they have charged the cop? And
why? And I think the other big glaring thing is people saying why aren't they interviewing the other witnesses?
Right. Why aren't they interviewing the witnesses? Why did they wait so long to release any information? Information that would be readily available in virtually any other case is not available now. There's also the way in which you were talking about the video that was released of the robbery. Well, that was really kind of, in some ways, the release of that video was kind of a middle finger to the media. Because if you look at the documents they released with it, it was, okay, you've all been bugging us with these Freedom of Information Act requests. Well, screw you. Here's some information you can have freely. And then to after that have to say, oh, well, the officer actually didn't know that he was a suspect in this. So again, you go back to the question, why was this kid shot? Right. And why was that? And why was releasing that tape relevant? More relevant than other information that could have been released, like a statement from the cop, Darren Wilson. So, Well,
and speaking of smearing, you include you said this is the desperate attempt by Matt Drudge to show that Michael Brown, who was shot down unarmed, and from multiple witness accounts with his hands up and moving away from a police car in Ferguson, Missouri, was some kind of thug. It's him flipping off the camera, I guess, in a jokey way. But
it's somebody. It's taking a picture of a teenager, doing the oh look, I'm scratching my forehead with my middle finger thing, which I do all the time. Every time I go through airport security, I do that. so there are many pictures of me doing that.
I mean, but here we go again, like with Trayvon Martin, right? How he gets smeared as some sort of thug, as if that, so this shouldn't matter.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is like he was unarmed and he posed no threat. He wasn't, he wasn't beating up the cop when he was gunned down. He was when he fell to the ground, he died 35 feet away from the cop car. And that's sort of without doubt. That's actually I think that's an established fact. And there's ways you can spin it, but you got to work really hard on that spinning.
You write about a man who always looks like he wants to sell cannabis gummy bears to third grader Rand Paul. I don't think you have any information he actually has sold cannabis gummy bears to third graders, but.
No, but he
we're just saying.
He wants to. He looks like he wants to.
Right.
I got these gummy bears. I got to do something with them.
But we agree with them in this case that, gee whizzers, it's a problem that the neighborhood police get up in soldier drag and drive around in vehicles and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what I was saying. It just, you look at this and you think this is so ridiculous. I mean, what citizens don't have, why are you in a tank, number one? Why do you have an automatic weapon, number two, right?
Oh. It's insane. And Ferguson's actually compared to some of the towns that have been getting these weapons, is a decent sized town. The town in Iowa has 8,000 people, and they've got the military assault vehicle. They've got a SWAT team. They've got police dogs. They've got SWAT transportation. I mean, a town of 8,000. I mean, unless it's the center of meth production in Iowa, which it very well could be, there's no reason at all to even think about having these kind of weapons.
You were actually saying some other Eric Erickson, Paul and Erickson, among others, believe the placing of armored vehicles, high-powered assault weapons, and yes, camouflage is part of a federal government plot to take away our rights or some such. It's probably Obama's fault somehow, even though it was Bush who started this push to turn our cops into armies.
Yeah.
You say, but they are also pointing out something very plain. If you allow someone to have crazy, they're probably going to use the crazy. So, of course, the first opportunity they had, cops in Ferguson were going to get out these sniper rifles and armored vehicles. This is the same argument that gun control advocates use. If you let dumbass mother have stupid big guns and magazines, dumbass mother are going to want to use them. Mm-hmm. And then you say, welcome to the party, bitches. This is what we've been saying. You're exactly right on the gun control side forever. Why do civilians need military weapons?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you get a bunch of cops out there, you know, guys that are already hyped up and ready to use their guns, then and you train them on military tactics, and poorly, according to many military people,
right.
Watch them, and at some point they're going to be jonesing to finally get out there and use those scopes and rifles and drive around in their big-ass vehicles pointing their machine guns at people.
Yeah, and which only has served to exacerbate the situation. I mean, it's you know, and so
you can't play Fallujah, you know.
Right.
This isn't a Gaza reenactment thing we've got going on here. It's the actual cops in our actual street.
Let's turn to sunny news, and that is Rick Perry indicted. Those two words shall go together. Somebody was talking about whether it's political or this or that. They go, yeah, but it's never helpful when running for president to have the words felony and indictment next to your name.
Yeah, you know, there's part of me that says, you know, this kind of seems like BS. You know, obviously he has the right to veto a bill. Obviously, you know, government officials pressure other government officials who've done wrong to leave their posts. But then there's that other side of me that says, screw that guy. You know?
Yeah.
You know, let's let a Republican fight some useless charge against them for a while and eat up their time, like they've done to Democrats constantly.
Yeah, Eric Bollert, you know, we're going to top of the top of the hour, but he had tweeted, so weeks after announcing Boner's partisan lawsuit versus POTUS, Republicans now denouncing partisan judicial abuse of Perry indictment. I mean, seriously?
Right.
This is the people who have just filed a frivolous lawsuit against the president saying, this is, you know, overreach of power or whatever.
Right, and you know, this is one of those kinds of lawsuits that if they get to dig deeper and deeper into the way Rick Perry runs his office, they could very well turn up something, and that should be what they're afraid of. What Perry should be afraid of more than anything else. Maybe not this particular indictment, but what else comes out in the abuse of power. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see if by the time Christie gets indicted as well, they really will be choosing from just a pool of who is unindicted at this point.
You know what? I could not be giddier about the idea of raising up Mitt again. You know, a Romney, you know, bringing Romney back would be just hilarious. It would just.
That's what somebody tweeted. Romney 2016 still not indicted.
Right, the Romney restoration. I think we should be behind it because, you know, at that point, the Democrats could, you know, run a peanut butter sandwich, and people would go, yeah, you know what? That peanut butter sandwich is more likable than Mitt Romney.
And in a related story, a lot of people were saying, you know, they say you can indict a ham sandwich, and in this case, I think they did. Rick Perry, the aforementioned ham sandwich. And that's just his brain.
Dress up in cowboy drag, so he is a bit of a ham, isn't he?
Although he's dropped the cowboy drag and put on the smart glasses.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. He does the smart glasses now, not the Brokeback Mountain coat.
That's right.
And the question for Romney, will he be able to recapture the original sizzle?
Right. Will we have that Rom-mentum that we had the first?
Right. The Mitt-mentum. Right. The Mitt-mentum.
Yeah.
Who can
there's nothing,
forget that?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, will we be able to put away our caffeinated beverages and stop thinking simple thoughts long enough to party with Mitt Romney?
Yeah. Who can forget the number of Santorum surges in the midst of our Mitt-mentum? It was
Yeah.
Hard to
So
replicate.
this looks like it's going to be another one of those games where there's somebody in the lead in the Republican primaries every week. Somebody new. We got to get crazy Ben Carson in there.
There you go. Clown car 2.0. All right, rudeness. Great stuff. Talk to you next week, honey.
Bye.
There he goes. Bye now.
RudePundit.blogspot.com.
There you go. 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. Eric Bollard at the top of the hour. You know who his fan club has exploded on the Twitterverse? Who? Tony in L.A. Tony in L.A. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Tony.
Hey, girl. You know what? I had to wake up and be mad. I've been mad this whole time. It's the Ku Klux Klan, Stephanie. That's why they killed that boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how come Rick Perry didn't have to come out and say, hands up, no, don't shoot?
Well, give me a break.
Yeah.
You know, Rick Perry, see, God don't like ugly and ain't crazy about pretty neither. That's why he getting his. But anyway, when it comes back to the boy, he was shot in the eye, he was that's like execution style.
So, yeah, 6 times.
I'm sorry?
He was shot 6 times.
Yep.
6 times. And all the witnesses are saying how the man would shoot him as he was walking up on him. That's execution style.
Yeah.
That cop is a killer. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand. You have to understand, Stephanie, there are people don't give a damn about a black life, period. And then guess what happens? Nothing happens to them.
Yeah. Tony,
my whole thing, if it's just bad policing, then why aren't there studies that show white people have been shot by black cops? You know, black cops have been shot. You can have the statistics. You could say that. It is because we're black.
Yeah.
The bottom line.
You know, Tony, there was a story in the LA Times over the weekend about, video cameras in cops' cars. But, I said to Chris, I'm like, I think, we really do need to get that done because, unfortunately, there is public confidence, I think, in what happens, at these stops because we don't know.
In the police. We don't have no confidence in the police. That's why what that black police officer said resonated with us. A white cop couldn't have got up there and said the same thing. It wouldn't have meant the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need the lapel camera. See, they have them where they're right there on the cop. Even if it's back in the car, you still can't pick up everything. It's just like the ones in New York.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I feel like we can't count on somebody having an iPhone. And you know what? It's like if police are policing properly, they shouldn't be worried about cameras, right?
Absolutely, but they're not. And that's stop and frisk. Come on, we've been going through this forever. There's nothing new here. That's why people go off because there's nothing new. I'm from St. Louis. I marched on a case maybe 15 so years ago. Her name was Marilyn Banks. She was shot sitting on her porch because the policeman was chasing a girl that came out that possibly was pregnant by him, and he was shooting at her.
Right.
And a bullet ricocheted and hit another girl sitting on her porch doing nothing. And guess what happened to him? They changed the venue. It went to Kansas City. He got off and got a better job working with a corporation.
Aye. God.
See, it happens, and that was 15, 20 years ago. It happens constantly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, this isn't happening over one incident. No. This is happening over because, this has been boiling over for a long time, and there's been, unfortunately, a lot of these incidents in the news lately.
Right. Well, we've been seeing it for years. So, like I said, the cameras, statistics show things drop by like 88%.
Yep.
When they have a camera. So that's your only answer. Because other than that, you already know what the other answer is. They will find that cop somewhere. And that's ultimately, I hate to say it, but, you get what like I said, you reap what you sow.
Well, I hope there's not vigilantism in this, because, I mean, at this point, it's a tinder keg still, obviously, if you look at last night, and I don't think anybody wants vigilantism either.
Tinder keg?
Powder keg.
Powder keg.
Right, tinder box.
Yes.
Of a powder keg. All right, just like Captain Ronald Johnson, who she was just talking about.
I want to start off by talking to Mike Brown's family. And I want you to know my heart goes out to you. And I say that I'm sorry. I wear this uniform. And and I should stand up here and say that I'm sorry.
Wow, it's powerful.
Yeah, Charles in Santa Fe, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Steph. How are you doing?
Good, go ahead.
I observed the tape of the footage taken, in the store that was pimped and robbed, and he was only wearing a tank top, a pair of shorts, and flip flops. Guy had didn't have flip flops on. I don't know where this guy got that. I really don't. But Michael Brown.
Yes.
Shot 6 times. And that is a little bit too much for any.
Yeah, well, it belies the whole, unfortunately, the cop story, it seems like, thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, as I was saying, that's why they're trained with non-lethal means. Why would you have to shoot? I mean, and plus, like he was saying, through the eye, in the head twice. I mean, it just... So police in Ferguson cracked down early Sunday on a group of protesters who had defied the curfew imposed by Governor Nixon. Ron Johnson, the guy we just heard from, said that tear gas was deployed not to enforce the curfew, but in response to a person believed to be armed. Anyway, but this was what I was talking about, this guy, Ron Johnson. He just wanted an interaction earlier. But to me, this is an example of policing. A masked protester confronted him during a press conference. The protester yelled at Johnson demanding action, and Johnson engaged him in conversation as he was starting to walk away. He said, "We're going to get some answers, I promise you, I promise you." The protester took off his mask in the course of the exchange because he was talking to him like a person.
Right.
He said, "I could have walked away, I could have ignored you, and you know what? In the past, you have been ignored." He said, "I love you all, I love this community, I'm really honored to be standing here with you and talking with you and just being part of this week and listening to your voice." And I think, he's made a big difference in trying to calm this situation. So there's been examples of really bad policing and really good policing.
The Ferguson Police Department, that's really bad policing.
Really bad. Lucia in Louisiana, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Lucia.
Hi, good morning, Stephanie. How are you today?
Good, go ahead.
My comment, you asked why the police officer shot Michael Brown. And my opinion is, and people may disagree with it, is because he wanted to get one. And I'm using that as he wanted to kill a black person ever since George Zimmerman. It's like, wow, George Zimmerman got him one, and I want one too.
Well, see, we don't know that. I mean, you can't ascribe, motives to the cop either right now. That's why I think people in Ferguson just want answers. I think we just want... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I was just saying, that's my opinion. That's how I feel. And I feel like that's how, that's how he wanted. That's how they wanted. I want to get me one.
Yeah, and, that's the thing. We don't know motives until we have a full investigation. 58 minutes after the hour. Right back. Eric Bollard, Media Matters on the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 6 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. All right, lots to get to. We just got the story, all the details from the autopsy report, Michael Brown. Lots to get to. In the meantime, here he is. Eric Bollard from Media Matters for America, doing the Lord's work as usual.
Eric Bollard. Eric Bollard.
Let's dive into the right-wing world. I don't know what that means. Eric Bollard from Media Matters, whom we love. Good morning, Eric Bollard, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Interesting. I was reading your tweet. You said, so Brown was stopped for jaywalking, approached cop car, then reached in and lunged for officer's gun. That's what Ferguson PD is going with.
Yeah.
And obviously, thus far, this autopsy does not seem to back that story up, right? It's he was shot 6 times, twice in the head. It does not appear to be at close range. There's no gunpowder on him, so that already seems to undermine the cop story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, everything seems to have undermined the Ferguson Police Department, going from the massive militarization response to the releasing the video, to arresting police, to all kinds of things. And the sad part is, you could argue that things are actually worse now than they were 7 days ago, based on the events from last night. A complete inability to really deal with the situation. So on Fox this morning, they were saying, this autopsy wasn't shot in the back, therefore, those witnesses were lying, and maybe he maybe Brown was charging at the policeman because there's some sort of garbled video where a witness says that, look, the idea that you're called over to a cop car for jaywalking, you then lunge for the policeman's gun and then run away, but then you decide to turn around and you're going to charge back at. I mean, none of it makes sense.
Well, I said that to Chris last week, Eric. That's the classic. Oh, he was going for the gun. Yeah. Yeah.
We certainly hear that a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think despicable to release this video. I mean, as if if he did steal cigars, you get the death penalty. I mean, why was that relevant and not, when they wouldn't release any information on the cop, right?
Yeah, right. And, well, it allowed, Fox News to run the video in a loop nonstop over the weekend. Other than that, there were reports that the DOJ did not want that video released because that's not really how you do investigations, and it's not good cop work. So, yeah, I mean, the release of the video, and then hours later saying, actually the cop who killed Brown didn't know that there was this, this $40 robbery.
Right.
It just,
Right, and it, as you say, belies, like, what is the answer to the question, why was a kid shot to death for jaywalking?
Yeah.
Right?
And we haven't heard anything. The policeman actually, I guess, left town. There's been no accountability there, obviously, from what I understand. A grand jury is looking into it and things like that. But, none of it has added up. And it's obviously disturbing to watch, young kids being tear gassed when they show up with their parents to demonstrate, things like this. Obviously not post-curfew, but even before that. And the whole thing's a mess.
Right.
And it's a lack of information, a complete lack of transparency.
I mean,
and changing stories and things like that.
Right, and this militarization of the police forces, as we were saying. I mean, I suppose if there's a terrorist attack, but really for peaceful protesters, you're gonna bust out automatic weapons for what? The only reason for them to exist is to kill as many people as possible. I mean.
Yeah, I mean the problem with the militarization, it all came, it all sprang from 9/11, and it all sprang from this fountain of money that the Homeland Security and the Pentagon was dispersing to towns. And basically, from the sounds of it, you just, you put in an application and you said, well, some Muslim might show up and blow up our festival, and you get, one of these SWAT mobiles. So yeah, I mean, there's a much larger problem with the massive militarization that came after 9/11, and what that actually has to do with policing. It doesn't seem to have much of anything to do with policing.
Well, and it's the whole just because you can doesn't mean you should. I mean, right. Could someone give me a rocket launcher? Yes. Should I have one? No. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely not.
Right, but when the money's out there, every police department in America, I mean, if they're literally giving this stuff away, you're going to grab what's yours.
Sure.
And if you don't need a rocket launcher, you put it out back. And then the problem is one day you convince yourself you do need that rocket launcher, and you start to you start putting it to work.
Yep. You say I'm enjoying the allegations that Texas is some sort of hotbed for progressive and democratic dirty tricks. # Free Perry.
Yeah.
I mean, this is real. Well, and the other one that you point out, you say, so after weeks of announcing Boner's partisan lawsuit versus POTUS, Republicans now denouncing partisan judicial abuse of Perry indictment. It's rich, isn't it?
It really is. And now the Wall Street Journal today editorial was saying, well, Perry should sue the prosecutor. So, right, how do you combat allegedly frivolous lawsuits? We start suing prosecutors. Look, I get it. I get the conventional wisdom. I get every pundit in D.C. says this indictment's a joke. I know everyone's in heated agreement. And whenever D.C. pundits are in heated agreement, that's when I say look the other way.
Right.
Look, and as I tweeted this morning, if you look at Texas pundits, they're not dismissing this. They're not saying this is a joke. They're saying he's kind of in trouble. Look, the federal judge who appointed the special prosecutor, the special prosecutor, the grand jury. I think people in Texas are less willing to look at this and say, "Oh, this is a complete joke," when you realize, the Texas judicial system is what produced this grand jury. This is not, a search warrant by some, FBI office that's trying to go after a Texas politician the way they did Jim Hightower when Rick Perry ran against him a long time ago. These are Texas citizens who sat in a grand jury, heard the evidence, and said, you know what, we're going to indict him. I think people in Texas are a lot less quick to say this is a joke, the way virtually all the D.C. pundits are, when, there are clearly statutes that Perry, this grand jury says, ran counter to. Is it the most important indictment ever? No. Is it possible it'll be dismissed? Yeah, sure. But, put me in the minority in saying this is not going to be laughed out of court. And, Texas grand juries are not in the, there's not a long tradition, even in Democratic counties, of Texas grand juries just making stuff up for the fun of it.
Right. Well, I mean, and plus it's just hilarious for a party that accuses President Obama literally every day of abuse of power for something that is part of his.
As mentioned in that tweet, John Boehner, announces this ridiculous BS lawsuit, partisan lawsuit. All the Republicans back it. All the right-wing media think it's a great idea. And then 2 weeks later, they turn around and they're complaining about, frivolous lawsuits. Rick Perry says, we don't use the courts to settle political differences in this country. Yeah, someone tell Bill Clinton that.
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
Tell Bill and Hillary Clinton, who racked up about $40 million in legal fees, that nobody uses the courts to settle political differences. There's a lot of irony in all this. And my favorite irony was, the D.C. press just spent the whole summer telling everyone Hillary Clinton stumbled every which way. She's had all these gaffes. Her campaign is a mess. And, by the way, it's Rick Perry who ends up getting indicted.
Right, yeah. I was quoting some political pundits like, well, indicted's never a good word next to your name if you're running for president.
And look, I've had this thing that's driving me crazy. These Rick Perry puff pieces. He's back. He's at 5% in New Hampshire. He's at 6% in Iowa. There's no indication that the grassroots, there's any movement towards Rick Perry. But my gosh, if you read his clips, he's basically got the nomination wrapped up. So I always chuckle. None of these puff pieces that I read all summer long even hinted that, there was an ounce of legal trouble on the horizon for him, because they didn't care about it, because they wanted to build him up to be, that kid.
And more importantly, who's next? You tweeted, so far New Jersey taxpayers have paid Christie's lawyers $7.5 million for government legal woes, most of it for whitewash report.
Yeah, that ridiculous the report that he paid for. And last winter, or a couple months after the story broke, it was reported that the legal fees were $1 million, and Chris Christie said, I don't know where you got that figure. And it turns out we're approaching $8 million, and about 3.5 of that was for this ridiculous Mastro report, which everyone realized was a joke. So hey, if you get in legal trouble, it's fine, because you can just use taxpayers' money to try to clear your name.
Well, as we're saying, the pool of people unindicted might be getting smaller and smaller for the Republican field in 2016.
Yeah, the governors, these Republican governors, definitely have a problem governing without breaking the law, or at least without serious accusations of breaking the law. I'm not sure how that's going to play on the campaign trail, but there's now an increasingly large group of them that want to run for president while they're paying their lawyers a lot of money to keep them out of jail.
Yeah. By the way, loved your piece. If there's a decency line inside Fox News, Keith Abloh actually crossed it, that's tough to do at Fox. Suggesting the First Lady needs to drop a few pounds to be a credible spokeswoman on nutrition, essentially.
And he does it on a show hosted by all women other than him. And the gasps when he said that were really kind of amazing, because even on Fox News, because, Abloh and everyone else who goes on Fox News has the general assumption is no matter how, offensive and insulting you are towards an Obama, that's fine. That's part of the
right. I mean, what you were saying, that's part of the theme, that as long as it's Obama or a prominent Democrat, pretty much anything goes is kind of the rule, right?
Right, but when you're on a panel with four, overachieving working women, and you start talking about how Michelle Obama has to lose a few pounds, then you've crossed, look, they've crossed so many thousands of lines. But I thought it was telling that the women made it plain to him that he had crossed the line. But did it matter? No, because the next day, Abloh gave an interview to Politico, said, I'm not going to take nutrition advice from Michelle Obama. She's un-American, and I have seen photos where she does not appear to be fit. So.
Wow. By the way, you said on the flip side, though, what took Abloh's colleagues so long? Where was the outrage when he suggested schoolgirls provoked harassment by wearing leggings to school, when he claimed Dancing with the Stars will turn kids transgender and that gay marriage will lead to bestiality, when he insisted Obama lacks Americanism in his soul, and suggested Vice President Biden might have been drunk during his 2012 debate with Paul Ryan?
None of those things produced any sort of pushback. But and the bad news is, why does it take forever? The good news is I give these women credit for making Abloh feel like a jerk for claiming that Michelle Obama need to lose a few, or any woman who's talking about public policy in this country should be judged on her waistline. I mean, it's like out of the 40s.
I'm not exactly sure he came out of that appearance feeling like a jerk, though.
No, I mean, he didn't, but at least there was some verbal pushback.
Yeah.
On the set. Yeah, look, he's delusional. I mean, that's made that clear for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pass on the swimsuit photo of him, by the way. All right. Eric Bowler, great stuff. See you next week, my friend.
Okay, bye.
All right. 19 minutes after the hour. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. For 24 minutes after the hour. Voice deity Jim Ward on his way in. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Angela in Pennsylvania, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Angela.
Hi, morning, Steph. Morning, Chris.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
They just briefly showed the autopsy drawing on Democracy Now!
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Brown was shot twice on the right side of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the interesting fact that I saw that he was shot at least 3 times on the inside of his right arm, which seems to me defensive wounds, that he was in a defensive mode, protecting his head rather than lunging at the cop in an aggressive mode.
Right.
And I just haven't heard anybody talk about this, and I just hope somebody's got the cojones to bring this fact out.
Yeah.
Well, that's forensic evidence that this cop should be, at least indicted rather than a 3-week investigation, what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, what she's talking about, the autopsy has been released, the preliminary one, with Michael Baden.
Right.
Remember him from the O.J. trial?
Really?
Yeah, Dr. Michael Baden.
Oh.
He found one of the bullets. He was shot 6 times, twice in the head. One of the bullets entered the top of Michael Brown's skull, suggesting his head was bent forward when he suffered the fatal injury. Baden told the Times that Brown was also shot 4 times in the right arm and that all the bullets were fired into his front. Eric Bowler was just telling us, you knew that the Fox News investigation would mean that that's all over now because he wasn't shot in the back. Well, that doesn't, to me, necessarily mean anything. The newspaper said the bullets did not appear to have come from very close range because there was no gunpowder on his body. So that right there, to me, seems most indictive of the cop.
Yeah.
The determination could change, though, if there was residue on Brown's clothing, which they have not examined yet. Some of the bullets entered and exited Brown several times, including one that caused at least 5 wounds. It said one shattered his right eye, went through his face, left through his jaw, and re-entered his collarbone. The last 2 shots in the head would have stopped him in his tracks and were likely the last fired. But, and again, this is preliminary, Chris, but it seems to support what they're saying, that he had his arms in the air and that maybe he fell if that it was the top of his head. And again, why is the officer still firing fatal shots? Baden told the newspaper Brown would not have survived even if he had been taken to the hospital immediately, because that was the other controversy. They just left him lying there. But all right, let's go to Lloyd in Wisconsin. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Lloyd.
Hey, hi, everybody.
Hi.
I was a policeman in Washington, D.C., and also a deputy U.S. Marshal. Every time even at the academy, and every time we had to requalify each year, we're taught a method of double tap assess. Double tap assess. Double tap meaning you fire twice, you assess the situation to see if you need to continue firing, and we are taught this time and time again. The second thing, when a suspect is going away from you, we were taught not to continue to fire at that person. The further that person gets away from you, the more possibility of your bullet going astray and striking someone innocent that happens to be downwind. And
right. And at this point, he obviously had to have known the kid is unarmed.
yes,
right?
Yes, that would have been the assessment process. After you do the double tap, you're looking at your target. You're assessing, is this person still a danger to me and the community?
Mm-hmm.
And if the person is still a danger to you and the community, then there's the next double tap. And you pause again to reassess the situation. And for this person to end up being shot 6 times, it appears to me that the officer just forgot about the double tap or the training and just fired. And being that the person was retreating away from the officer, that also endangered other civilians that could have been behind Michael Brown during the course of the shooting.
Right. Yep, exactly. Good points. Good points. Let's go to Cliff in Oklahoma. Hey, Cliff, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm from around Will Rogers country, if you're familiar with that. It's up around Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think Will Rogers would be a little upset with people in Oklahoma because most of these people, they bash Obama. And what I'm wondering is, how come we don't have more people like yourself in Oklahoma asserting themselves and speaking up and saying, hey, look, I'm progressive.
We're going, Chris. Let's go.
Okay.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Betting pool?
John Reck.
Uh-huh.
He tweeted, now I need to find it again.
All right.
He says, I think I won the Eric Bullard bye-bye pool this morning at 50 feet.
Oh, all right, good. He said goodbye from 50 feet. Yep.
Bye-bye.
Nice. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Voice dated Jim Ward on his way in.
Presumably.
Yeah. Andy in, who can say? Andy in Delaware. He was on vacation from his vacation last week.
That's right.
Okay, Andy in Delaware, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Andy. Hello, Andy. Andy going once, going twice. Joe in Iowa. Hi, Joe. Welcome.
How you doing, Stephanie? How you doing?
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really just, and I think, white folks really need to start examining this as well. I mean, it just seems that in this country still have this systematic, rooted below the surface racism. It still kind of goes on in this country, and it's really hard because on the surface for a lot of people, you say, oh, that's the United States, African American, Attorney General, Eric Holder is African American, but that's not the real systematic nature of it. And you go down south, and a lot has changed in 40 years, but at the same time, there's still a long way to go here. This is deep-rooted generation, deep stuff. I mean, I think it was LBJ that said, after they started losing the South, he said it was going to take 100 years to start winning the South back again after they started going Republican for Reagan.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy.
All right, and I think I would have...
the phone wasn't...
Right, I would have understood that better had I heard more than every other word. I got the vague idea we have a lot of ways to go on racism.
Yeah.
But it was the pilot thing. It's going to be important if you want to stay alive. Okay. I think I missed some keywords. I got the general gist.
Sure. It was a little tough to listen to, though.
Yes. Okay. See, I can never tell if it's just me going deef.
No, yeah. There's been a fair amount of that on the phones this morning.
There's a little human Morse code there.
Yeah.
The Missouri state senator who was tear-gassed while demonstrating in Ferguson, Missouri over the police killing of Michael Brown protested the injection of Brown's alleged robbery prior to his death onto the debate about whether Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson's actions were justified. Maria Chappelle Nadal, did you see her? She represents parts of Ferguson.
Right.
She said it doesn't matter if Michael Brown committed theft or not. That is not the issue. The issue is what happened when Darren Wilson encountered Michael Brown and when he died, when he was killed. Those are the only facts that are necessary. If someone is an alleged thief, that does not equal shooting. It doesn't equal death. She had been critical of the handling of events in Ferguson, holding police to account after she was tear-gassed while protesting. I don't know if you saw this. She was venting her frustration with Governor Jay Nixon's role in the aftermath of the shooting, sending a tweet of you to the governor.
F.U. Yeah.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
There's been, there's been some, a lot of criticism of Governor Nixon's handling of this. Here he is.
We and our security team and the Highway Patrol did not know that was going to be released, and quite frankly, we disagree deeply.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that part is his fault, and I think he did do a good thing by bringing in Ron Johnson and the state. But I did not know this. It seems like the African American community in Ferguson not crazy about Governor Jay Nixon, a move he made as Attorney General back in the 1990s. Could be part of the problem. He tried to end desegregation of St. Louis schools, saying it was not cost effective. He did receive praise this week, as I was just saying, for removing the Ferguson Police Department's control of the city, instead turning it over to Missouri State Patrol under Captain Ron Johnson. But I heard him getting heckled the last whenever he gave the press conference. Governor Nixon again.
We were unaware they were going to release it, and we certainly were not happy with that being released, especially in the way that it was. It appeared to cast aspersions on a young man that was gunned down in the street.
Ann in North Carolina, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Ann.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Chris.
Hello.
I watch on Free Speech.
Thank you.
But I'm at work now, and I don't have free speech at work. But
okay.
My point is...
They don't have the First Amendment there? Oh, the TV channel.
Free Speech TV, honey.
Oh, okay.
Millions of Army police, and there's money for camera phones.
Oh boy, is this our phone system or just everybody's phone?
We only heard every other word.
All right,
there,
try
Pam.
one more time, Ann.
I think it's your system, because at home you were blacking out on the TV, on Free Speech TV. You were blacking out.
Really?
So anyway, my point is, they have all this millions of dollars spent on arming these cops, these police officers, but there's no money for lapel
cameras. Yeah, no, I was just saying that. I was just saying that. I hope that there's going to be a drive now to get that done. There was a big story in the LA Times this weekend about them trying to get the cameras in all the cars, and a lot of them don't have them. And I just think, unfortunately, we're going to have more of this.
Yeah, cameras in the cars only go so far, because it can only film what's going on right in front of the car.
That's why they're talking
the lapel camera, that'll record a lot more.
Right. By the way, the photos posted to Facebook by Darren Wilson's father show the Ferguson police officer receiving a commendation award from the police department. I think people objected to, that was posted, and then at the same time they released this what do you call it, convenience store footage. And again, none of it goes to the issues, what happened between this cop and Michael Brown that ended up with him dead by 6 shots.
Yeah.
Chief Tom Jackson, Ferguson Police Department.
He was a gentleman. He's a quiet officer, and he has been an excellent officer for the police department. It's devastating, absolutely devastating. He never intended for any of this to happen.
And that may all be true. And,
sure.
But again, the fact that he got a commendation earlier for something doesn't mean he necessarily was in the right in this particular.
Right. And pictures of the cop have now been found on Facebook, and so those are circulating. So now we know what he looks like.
Pam in New Hampshire, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Pam.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
I was watching Alex on MSNBC on Friday, and no one's mentioning it. I called Bill's show this morning. But the Geneva Convention has banned tear gas. Our troops can't even use it on our enemies overseas, so why are they allowed to be used here on our citizens?
Well, yeah, and plus, I think we've all seen the pictures, the number of kids that are there, and kids even in strollers.
I know, but I was just wondering, if Geneva banned it and we can't use it on Al-Qaeda, how can we use it on a bunch of citizens over here? And no one's discussing that.
Yeah.
It's banned overseas.
Yeah.
So it was just something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Yep. And listener Larry has a good tweet. He said, police lobbed tear gas into Ferguson crowd because someone had a gun, but Missouri is an open carry state. So what's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean...
That's a really good point.
And like I was saying, thus far it seems to be exacerbating stuff, and even the president said that it was a very measured statement. Nobody is defending looting and violence and all of that, but it seems like there is such a bad cycle that started there when they brought in tanks and, what do you call it, whatever kind of... And plus, the other thing is they're not just the automatic weapons, they're like up in like sniper positions.
Yeah.
Like, really? What are you going to do? I mean... That's just unnecessarily...
Going to kill more kids? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's unnecessarily provocative, I think. Randy in Branson, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Randy.
Yeah, hello there, Stephanie. I thought I'd follow up on some of the comments and observations about the politics at Ferguson. Jay Nixon is a Democrat, and as of the last election, the Republicans now have a veto-proof majority in the houses, and he is the only thing standing between Tea Party City and the citizenry. So he's fairly popular now. Anyone that does not want to go hard right, and those North County St. Louis precincts are traditionally always the last precincts to report in elections, and they've always carried the elections for Claire McCaskill. When she was first elected, she was neck and neck. In fact, even behind all night until the absolute last 5% of the precincts reported, and that's North St. Louis. And notably absent, so Claire McCaskill has been there right on the scene, but notably absent is Roy Blunt, our Republican senator, that just is not poking his head up anywhere regarding this. But that's Claire.
Gee, and Republicans usually show good at minority outreach. That's surprising.
That's true, but those are my observations on it. Roy does not want to be seen in that neighborhood, and Claire, those are her people, and they traditionally point very heavily Democratic up there.
Yep, okay. Robert in Florida, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Robert.
Buongiorno, Stephanie. How are you?
Buongiorno. Hello.
Hey, I want to say this about the video release of him stealing cigars. And my opinion is that that's on design because they're trying to muddy the waters of any jury pool who will one day have to pass judgment on this police officer. So, and I think that's the sole reason for this. And that way Fox News can show it 24/7, and any potential juror pool might come by that video one day.
Yeah, and plus the Department of Justice said don't release this. It's going to inflame the situation. That's unfair. And they did it anyway. And it did inflame the situation, right?
It did. Hey, it did its job.
Yeah.
All right, Stephanie, I love you.
All right, I love you too. All right, okay. Christine in Cleveland, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Christine.
Oh, good morning. Can I be the official person of continental origin of the Stephanie Miller Show today? Anyways.
Hello, you can be our continental breakfast this morning. Go ahead.
Quick point. I was watching Amy Goodman this morning, and she had on Stephen Hawkins, which is the representative of Amnesty International.
Right.
And they've had issues getting into and around Ferguson all week. So Amnesty International is having difficulty, along with, the media being pushed back. Like last night with Chris Hayes and that whole episode.
Yeah.
So Amnesty International is not doing much either there. So the whole thing in Ferguson is a cluster clock.
Oh, pardon me. Okay, thank you. All right, you gave us both a little tiny heart, just a little heart-related event. We're fine. Okay. All right, 45 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 51 minutes after the hour, voice deity Jim Ward, presumably on his way in.
Yeah, he may be late.
1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. I find myself more and more, Chris, wishing that that this gets done, that we do have, whether it's cruiser or lapel cameras, because that's the thing is you never. And why have the police answered why they're not talking to the other witnesses?
No.
But anyway, because somebody tweeted, let's see. He said, Wilson could well have shot at Brown's back and missed. Witnesses aren't necessarily wrong that the cop tried. Yeah, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know whether he was shooting when he was running away and then he turned around and said, hands up, don't shoot. But, regardless, he was shot 6 times,
right,
including twice in the head and once, I guess, on the top of the head, meaning he must have been falling or whatever. But the whole thing does not smell right to me.
It does not.
Let's go to David in Chicago. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, David.
Stephanie,
yes.
Wow, the first time I've called you, I've been listening to you and looking at you forever. This is really a privilege. I love you guys. I love your show.
Thank you.
I always learn something, and I'm always moved by you and most of the views that you guys take.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you
very
much.
Thank you.
I'm a 55-year-old man. Back when I was born, there was a young man named Emmett Till who was murdered down south on a visit from Chicago because he whistled at a white woman.
Yep.
And many people believe that began the modern civil rights movement as people became upset. obviously they were upset about the torture and the murder, but they were even more upset about the seeming circling of the wagons and the cover-up. And for decades, people never were brought to justice about that brutal thing.
Yep.
And I hate what has happened here in Ferguson. I've got a 24-year-old, 6'4" black young man that lives with me, and he's a wonderful guy. And in Chicago, I get rage thinking that he was shot 6 times unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Unarmed, shot 6 times. Regardless of all of the altercations or anything else, and a great guy with commendations and all.
Yeah. Well, and David, by the way, as we've said, I'm not anti-cop. I was at a cop party Saturday night. I have a good friend that's a former cop. And, But you know, you raise a good point. I'm not trying to say I'm trained like a cop or I can, I can second guess everything. But just that, what you just said, 6 times. Even if part of his story is right and he felt threatened and Michael Brown's rushing and whatever, why can't you shoot once in the leg, in the knee, something? Like what,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have a feeling, because we have seen circumstances before where we have to demand justice and insist on justice. And most of 99.9% of the folks down there, I'm sure, are outraged by it, but want to see justice done in this case. And, I feel for the officer's family. I feel because I don't know the man, but he may be a decent guy who made a mistake, a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
And, okay, let's deal with this in a just manner. But when we start to get the impression that it's going to be a whitewash or a cover-up or a circling of the wagons, if I had done something like that, I would be under the jail during the investigation.
Yeah.
It's just a matter. We have to know that there is a process, and the process will be followed.
Yep.
And that's all we're really saying. I mean, that in any case, no matter who it was and the circumstances involved, there's only one thing that we really know about this. The gentleman was unarmed. He got shot 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we really know. And so I would encourage everyone to, step back, take a breath. I understand the rage because all of us all over the country are outraged by it.
Yep.
But at the same time, we must demand of our people that are in office to follow a system, a justice system, and we have to be able to rely on that. And and
some of it's common sense. It's like in a situation already this inflamed, why are you releasing the video to try to smear a victim before we know, clearly that's just dumb. That's just common sense. Is your distress gastrointestinal in nature, or is there something?
No, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with line 2.
Okay. All right. Steve in Chicago, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steffi.
Hello.
I say law and order. They need to break out the axe handles if they run out of those riot sticks. I'll tell you why.
So you're for beating people to death?
Yeah, that's right. Because
that'll help.
That's a good solution.
Yes, but we have interstate seditionists here who've come from out of state to create anarchy.
Wow, just like at Cliven Bundy's ranch, huh?
Well, that could be. But these guys are using baggies of human feces to pelt the police.
What's your source on that?
AP.
AP? No, you know what? I just did an AP search for ninja stars and poop, like you're saying. No AP story came up with one. Sorry.
Well, what about these wiffle balls studded with nails that are, look like nails?
What is your source on that?
That too is from the wires.
Did not come up with a news story with wiffle balls.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Nice try, though.
Yeah. See, I can see what they're calling about beforehand, and that's what I was furiously Googling over here. No, I did not see ninja stars, did not see poop.
There was too long of a pause before AP.
Yeah. Wiffle balls.
Think about that. Okay.
Wiffle balls full of nails. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Okay.
Bags of poop, so all that you can do now is axe handles. What? Okay, Robert in Arizona, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Robert.
Hello. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. I I'm a little unclear on the timeline with that video that was released. Was that the day of the shooting? Or was that sometime before? I'm unclear about that.
The alleged a theft did take place just before he was shot, but the cop in question did not know that he was.
That he might be a suspect.
Right, exactly.
In that, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think a fair question also is, what did Michael Brown know? Michael Brown had just come from doing this, and now he's being stopped by the police. Is it unreasonable for him to believe that is why he was being stopped by the police?
I guess,
it,
but
it doesn't warrant
a
trial and execution by a cop.
Yes,
Sorry.
exactly. All right, 58 minutes after the hour, Voice Didi Jim Ward next, we hope, on the Stephanie Miller Show. Stephanie Miller Show. Yes, it is time to feel good. Why is that? Why? Look who's here, looking all vacation-y. Jim Ward. Jim, did you know that according to some guy's ass, the police are having poop and ninja stars thrown at them in Ferguson?
And wiffle balls full of nails.
Right. It's time to break out the axe handles.
Right. To fight off the ninja poop. Right. Sure.
This guy, Joel, says, Steph, there's a clause in contracts with local police departments that the equipment must be used within a year receiving the equipment or the subsidy will be withdrawn, so many PDs are anxious to use it whether it's needed or not. Also don't know if he got that from...
Directly from his ass?
Exactly.
It's surplus equipment, so it would go to waste anyway. So why would there be a clause that...
We got to use this tank. We don't want to. We don't want to roll over this preschool, but we got to use this tank or they're going to take it away.
That clause makes no sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I mean, it could be true. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense.
Why are they wearing camouflage? They're in the city. It's
exactly.
like, I can barely see you now in front of that convenience store.
In front of that brick wall. Good thing you're wearing that jungle cami. God.
It's cops with extra testosterone that wanted to use the new toys that they got.
The whole point is they want you to see them and how big their is, presumably. Yeah. Camouflage. Ooh. Turn at the city. What do you... I don't understand.
Why don't they just wear SS uniforms?
Yeah.
Jackboots.
Oh.
And,
Jawohl.
Jawohl. Jim is here with the first Hitler reference of this morning.
Well, the Third Reich was very good for German podiatrists. It's all that those cases of plantar fascismus. See, it's an international historical pun, which is always so funny.
All right.
Current.
How do we get Jim to get here and get here on time? Alcohol delivery service with underwear models.
That's right.
Yes.
Girls should be here any moment.
Gail?
All right. Gail Storm?
I said the girls. Gals. I was going to say gals and then girls.
A bunch of Celtic people will be arriving with kilts.
Oprah's best friend is going to be here?
Shillelaghs.
What's better than having your favorite alcohol delivered to your door? Having it delivered by a model in his or her underwear, of course. This is... Travis found this. It's an LA-based alcohol delivery app, MeUndies. And an LA-based company that sells underwear have teamed up to bring you your favorite liquor and clean underwear. They're like whore packs. We'll get one for May.
Oh, okay.
You got something.
The packs include, let's see, everything you need for a sleepover. Oh, fresh underwear, socks, T-shirts, sunglasses, hangover-fighting vitamin, and your choice of alcohol and mixers.
Oh.
A representative for Saucy. That's the name of the app.
Saucy?
When you place your order using the Saucy app, you'll receive your goods within 20 minutes.
Ooh.
Right.
Is there a Saucy app?
No.
Fussy.
Twala.
Minstrel show of a movie.
Wah.
Minstrel show of a movie. Ugh.
I watched Dead Poet Society last night. Jim, you weren't here for the Robin Williams week. What a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick was, very
we
close
had him in
friends
twice
with
last week. Yeah, we talked to him about it.
Yeah. Hey, what a week. And plenty of douche nozzles to go around. Oh, in fact, wait, did I get to that?
Oh,
Gene
Westboro.
Simmons.
Gene Simmons, right.
Oh, Westboro, that's to be expected.
No, please. Gene Simmons is sorry for telling people, depressed people to kill themselves. Any of you overly sensitive, depressed people took offense. That was that kind of apology. He issued an apology on Facebook after taking part in an interview during which he told those suffering from depression, you then kill yourself.
Oh.
So his apology...
With quotation marks?
Yes, to the extent...
which some of you sensitive people...
may have been offended.
Whatever. My comments reported by the media speak of depression. I was wrong.
Reported by the media. He didn't actually say it. It was just reported by the media.
Right.
That's darn media.
Reporting that I said, you go kill yourself. I was wrong, and in the spur of the moment made remarks that in hindsight were made without any regard for those who truly suffer the struggles of depression. I sincerely apologize to those who were offended by my comments.
Of course.
Hindsight and hind talking.
I have
Talking
never
out of gas.
sugar-coated my feelings regarding drug use and alcoholics. Somewhere along the line, my intention of speaking very directly and perhaps politically incorrectly about drug use and alcoholics. No, you just spoke douche-tastically, basically. Blah, 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 has been misconstrued as vile commentary on depression. Yeah, who would... That is really...
Kind of hypersensitive idiots would interpret it that way. You know, you should just kill yourself for being so... okay, I shouldn't.
Oversensitive. Oh, there I go again. Apology number 2. Unkind statements about...
He's all number 2.
Unkind statements about depression were certainly never my intention.
No, of course not.
Why would you? Just by saying you go kill yourself, why would you think that's not his intention? He didn't mean that in a mean way.
Guy.
Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, by the way, there's another, there's some stragglers.
So Gene Simmons is a jerk. I'm so disillusioned.
I know. Sorry, Jim.
My computer will
by the way, these are kind of the douche-tastic stragglers. You know, Rush Limbaugh out front as usual.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, WorldNet Daily is using Robin Williams' death to sell DVDs about celebrities using demonic powers. Conspiracy website, WorldNet Daily.
Robin Williams, so well known for his demonic powers.
Right.
Well, the WorldNet Daily reprinted an excerpt of an opinion piece that argues Williams used the help of demonic powers that aided him on stage, but these insidious forces eventually drove him to suicide.
Kind of like Rosemary's Husband and Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
You know, used demonic powers to get ahead.
Right. So that all happened.
All
right, speaking of...
If one of your gloves is missing,
exactly.
It's Robin Williams.
After talking to Jesus for 2 weeks, bakery owner will not make a cake for a lesbian's wedding.
Mm-hmm. What did Jesus have to say?
For the Bible tells me so.
Was Jesus speaking Aramaic?
We'll ask John Fugelsang, but Jesus, I think, very chatty about little Leslie cakes.
Yeah.
Said a lot about that. I think there's a whole chapter in the Bible.
Sure.
Jesus doesn't think that lesbians deserve a red velvet cake.
And he said so in Aramaic, very clearly.
Even though same-sex marriage recently became legal in Pennsylvania, one bakery owner refusing to make a cake for a same-sex couple, citing her religious belief. The cake pros, they're not really that professional, in my opinion.
No.
Okay. In eastern Pennsylvania, under fire, we're refusing to bake a cake for a same-sex couple. We have homosexuality in our family, and it was shocking.
God.
Well,
you should go kill yourself now.
So it's not like she's not empathetic to such ickiness being in...
Wow. Did Gene Simmons have anything to say?
She said that with a whisper. We have homosexuality. We have in our family.
People are that way. We don't like to talk about it. It's not very loudly. We don't like to come to holidays, but they're there. So it was a hard decision to make. But in the end, when I die and I'm one-on-one with God, I have to stand true to him, said Lorraine Fleming, the owner of Cake Pros. She said she wanted the woman that wanted the people that wanted the cake made wanted to support their hometown. That's why she chose the bakery. We asked her to make us a wedding cake, not marry us. I didn't understand. But the women say things took a not so sweet turn when Jennifer's mom received a phone call. They called and said to her that they were a Christian bakery, and the owner had talked to Jesus for 2 weeks.
Whatever. Poor Jesus.
Oh, Jesus! All right.
God. You again?
Then don't make a lesbian cake.
Sorry, I gave them my cell number.
Jesus.
Oh.
Here, have some Little Debbie things. Whatever.
And it's because it was
Little Debbie is demonic. She'll bake the cake.
I'm just saying, if you've been talking to Jesus for 2 weeks, maybe you're the one who needs some other sort of, assistance of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
How might we help you? Okay.
Jesus is
Jesus would have to have call block, wouldn't he? Oh, God.
Totally regretting giving her his cell number.
There's no such thing as a Christian bakery.
Does it say so on the sign? Or do you just have to guess?
Okay.
When you walk in there.
Why do I follow this with a story that all straight people are morally on the up and up in all ways, all the time. Police, a woman had sex with dogs, tried to poison the witnesses. Not the dogs, the people that saw her having sex. Yeah, hang on. Hang on, this gets better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you see her picture?
Oh, yeah. I included the picture.
Oh, so you're telling me that's a lady person?
That's a lady person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh?
The look on her face, but the dog liked it.
The dog told me he liked it. The dog and Jesus told me that they liked it.
Thank God we're not giving cakes to Leslie's.
Maybe she should talk to Gene Simmons.
A woman who admitted... Would you like the fun facts of this? There's a lot of them. Okay, everybody pay attention. There's a lot of details to absorb here. A woman who admitted to having sex with her roommate's dogs is also accused of attempting to poison the roommates after they found out about it. Sherry Walters tried to kill Beverly Bradley and Bradley's brother Jeffrey, who also lives there, by putting rubbing alcohol in their water and toilet bowl cleaner in their food.
Ew.
Walters was allegedly upset that Jeffrey, who she had been dating, had broken off their relationship after he found out that she then 2 German Shepherds. Judgmental much?
Wait a minute. She's a chick, right? So she had to get the dogs excited.
Right.
Oh,
Okay,
God. Oh, no.
Bradley told police she, quote, caught Walters lying nude inside a shed on their property having sex.
Of course, in a shed.
With her dog, Spike. According to the complaint, Walters then confessed that she'd had sex with the other dog, Jake, too, and that she'd done it many times before. Oh, she's very chatty. You know what? It's not what I would... You get caught having sex with 1 German Shepherd.
$13.
I did it with Spike, too. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, $13 says crystal meth was involved.
Talk about kiss and tell. My God. Do people have no decency anymore? The night after the incidents, the Bradleys noticed something off about their water, but drank it anyway. Listen, we're in California. You're lucky to have any water. In their complaint, they said...
Yeah, but people are dumping buckets of it over their heads to raise money for ALS. Is that a good idea?
It's for charity. In their complaint, they said Walters asked them, "Aren't you going to eat?"
Aren't you going to eat?
She's the worst poisoner ever.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be subtle.
Eat that? You should eat that.
Hanging over them.
You really should eat that. You should eat it now. Eat it.
She then attacked them and confessed the poisoning. She is just way too chatty.
Wow. She's dumb.
She said, "I'll stop trying to kill you if Jeffrey will be with me."
Oh.
Well, who's going to turn that down?
An ultimatum like that, how can
Right?
you? Wow.
Roommates are now receiving medical attention for their alcohol and cleaning chemicals they ingested. As for Jake and Spike, although Jeffrey was very concerned they might have contracted diseases he claims Walter has. Oh, for God's sakes.
Chlamydia?
They're both healthy. Jake and Spike are okay.
Can dogs get chlamydia?
Can clams get dog media?
You know, when you're concerned that your ex-girlfriend has given your 2 German Shepherds the clap, something has gone awry in your dating life, let me just say. But at least they're not Leslie's that want a cake.
Yeah.
Woo!
Because that would be weird.
I'll bet you little Debbie had some Leslie proclivities.
I am Little Debbie.
Little Debbie and Dolly.
So
little Debbie and Dolly Madison.
There you go.
That's something going on? All right, 19 minutes.
What do the Keebler elves have to say about that?
Hey, knock it off. What are you doing? Hey!
19 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it 24 minutes after the hour. But wait, I have another straight family value.
If this song depresses you, you know what to do. Oh, what's that blood pouring out of my mouth?
Don't listen to Gene Simmons. Don't listen. Okay. Oh, because someone wouldn't bake a couple of Leslie's a cake, I have yet another straight family values.
Okay.
Jesse, it's a future wife staff. Public nudity by itself will not get you arrested in Seattle. Good to know.
All right.
But police say one woman turned her nudity into indecent exposure when she committed a sex act with a Beacon Hill family's lawn furniture.
Aha. With lawn furniture? What kind of sex act do you commit with?
I'll explain. Nudity becomes criminal if it causes a person to reasonably experience fear, alarm, or concern. You might be alarmed if you saw a woman your lawn furniture. Just saying.
So if a dude is walking around in a turgid state.
Right.
Okay.
An extremely intoxicated 33-year-old woman wandered...
Washington is a turgid state. Seen the Space Needle? Yeah.
She's probably excited by the Space Needle.
Absolutely,
That's right.
yes.
She wandered into their yard with several members of the family looking on in horror.
Several members?
Yeah.
Police say the woman, quote, hiked up her dress and engaged in an intimate act with several lawn chairs. Slut.
Lawn
Look,
chairs?
look, when you cannot be committed to even one lawn...
Well, now,
she's a slut.
an upside-down card table I could see, but lawn furniture?
What?
Several lawn chairs. Cannot even stay committed to one lawn chair.
How?
Or two dogs.
I can't imagine how you do that.
It's a different woman.
Right.
She then began urinating on the lawn before quite purposely exposing her genitalia and then posterior to the family inside the home. Oh.
Was there a reason for this, or was alcohol involved?
Yes, I believe we covered that part of it.
All right, fine.
The amount of alcohol, it makes it seem like a good idea to go a bunch of lawn chairs in front of a family.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, hey, here's my ass in case you missed anything.
Here's my hoo-ha.
Oh, thank God there's no Lizzie cakes, though, for weddings. I think that's
that would be
important.
weird.
That'd be weird. JP in Illinois, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, JP.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, I've got an opinion of the police releasing that video about Brown in the store.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to be like they were trying to show that he was intimidating and, you know, a force to be reckoned with because,
Right.
I mean, he took what he wanted and then he pushed the
Right.
storekeeper aside like, you know, no big deal, you know. And then, you know, I don't know what took place with the police officer that shot him, you know, what caused him to, you know, what the confrontation was, but it seemed like all the shots that were fired at him was frontal.
Yes.
You know, if I would get shot at by a gun or I heard a gunshot, I'd hit the ground. And
yeah, well, I mean,
it
you know,
all frontal.
right, the last shots are on the top of his head, so
Yeah.
it seemed like he was falling, and it looks like, you know, if you look at the diagram that they were here, it would, to me, lends credence to he had his arms up.
Yeah.
Like, don't shoot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, more importantly, back to good news.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be Rick Perry's roommate in prison?
Oh, yay.
Hello, I'm Rick Perry. I see indictments coming, they're coming from the bench. I might not see the sunshine for I don't know when. I'll be a fool in prison. I'll be the cell block dope.
Oops.
And I must take extra care now not to drop the soap. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, no photo ops with Hannity, especially with a gun. I shot my mouth off in El Paso to see my chances die. As those indictments keep a-moving, I hang my head and cry. Ladies and gentlemen, the three departments I would eliminate: commerce, energy, and justice. Oops.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, he'll have plenty of time to think of that third department.
Yeah.
Is the Stephanie Miller Show. Jeffrey tweets, Jesus hates Leslie cakes. He's a diabetic.
Oh.
Good to know he's fine with women lawn furniture, apparently. Okay, if you've just tuned in. 34 minutes after the hour. So I'm reading these, we were talking about the autopsy, Jim, and it's, Representatives for Brown's family say the results of the preliminary autopsy support witness accounts that Brown was trying to surrender when he was shot. Why would he be shot on the very top of his head? A 6'4" man, said one of the family's lawyers. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
They tweeted, private examiners' last two shots were likely to Mike Brown's head. All these shots were survivable except to the top of the brain. Near the end of the press conference, an audience member asked why, given those results, Wilson had not been arrested, the cop. And Dr. Baden said, who gets arrested is not a forensic science decision. But it sure didn't look good, does it? I mean,
If the 6'4" guy was shot in the top of the head, it means he was prone. He was lying on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no other
Right.
You know, or if they shot him as he was falling forward.
Falling, right, yeah, exactly.
Well, all this, you know, posse comitatus is one of the things that the Patriot Act took care of, got rid of it.
That's right.
The idea that the military can't be used against the American people. But with the militarization of the police and their jungle camouflage.
Yeah. Boys and toys.
It's, you know, just asking for this.
You know, like I said earlier, the military is meant to protect us from enemies.
Right.
You know, on the outside, when you make the police into the military, you're
we are
turning on
the enemy.
Yes, you're making.
And not to make this sexist, but I'm just saying, if you give boys cool toys, they're going to use them.
Well,
I have a guy friend that asked me, "Do you want to go to the shooting range with me and a bunch of guys?" I was like, "No, I do not. I do not."
There are a lot of women who shoot guns.
I know, but I'm not one of them. Like, no.
I shot guns.
Probably a good thing.
It's really a good thing. So Texas Governor Rick Perry, oops. The freshly indicted Rick Perry. Abuse of power. That's weird, because the president, every time he uses his phone or his pen, they accuse him of abusing his power or whatever. Something phone.
The president thinks he has some power.
And Hitler something. But now, Governor Perry over there. Governor Rick Perry yesterday.
If I had to do it again, I would make exactly the same decision.
Good. Yeah, because you're a dope.
We don't settle political differences with indictments in this country. Really? Or frivolous lawsuits against the president? Or,
really?
I don't know. Let's check in with the Clintons on that as well. Okay. By the way, Eric Boehlert said he thinks there's a reason that a lot of Texas pundits are not taking this lightly. A special prosecutor spent months calling witnesses, presenting evidence that Perry broke the law when he promised to nix $7.5 million over 2 years for the Public Integrity Unit run by the Office of Travis County District Attorney Rosemary Limburg. She was convicted of drunk driving but refused to resign.
That's right.
Governor Perry.
Stop for DWI with a blood alcohol level almost 3 times the legal limit.
Yeah, you know, someone that's ever been accused of drunk driving should not be in a higher office of any kind.
Right.
Certainly not anyone from Texas that would ascend to a higher office like...
Oops.
Like I was referring to the last dummy from Texas, George W. Bush. Oh, I see. So he can be president, but she can't be. Okay.
We got ourselves surplus. Means you're paying too much tax. I'm going to fix that.
Human irritant Ted Cruz says he is proud to... Excuse me. Okay. He showed his support for a fellow...
of course he did.
Douche nozzle. Governor Rick Perry. Hours after Perry was indicted, Rick Perry's a friend. He's a man of integrity. I'm proud to stand with Rick Perry, he said. Cruz said the indictment predicated on the exercise of his constitutional authority is on its face highly suspect. Right? Right? Like anybody implying that the President of the United States doesn't have certain constitutional authority to do certain things. It would be like some idiot trying to, I don't know, like filibuster to shut down the government because they claim that the President doesn't have any constitutional authority.
That could never happen. Not in this republic. No, sorry, Bob.
David in Tacoma, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, David. Hello, David.
I'm calling from the turgid state of Washington.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And I just want to say that we don't all have sex with lawn furniture.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
If you say
good
so.
to know.
If you say so.
Well, at least most of my friends don't.
Okay. Oh, good.
All right.
My trip to Seattle is back on.
But I have a question about Michael Brown. They released this video of someone who might be him stealing cigars from the store. And he's supposedly shot minutes later. Nobody has said there were cigars around.
Yeah, we have so many questions that I'm not sure which ones we have answers to because the police won't talk about it.
But is that a capital offense, stealing cigars?
Yes.
Immediate death
penalty with no trial.
With no trial.
Right. Yes.
Or you could smoke the cigars and they'll kill you eventually.
Exactly. I'm just thinking, Seattle is a somewhat slutty city. Now that I think about it, you got the Space Needle, you got fish flying around. You know what I'm saying?
You got the slut, the South Lake Union Trolley.
South Lake Union Trolley. Ride the slut. Saying fish flying everywhere.
You should wear your slut shirt.
I should. Oh, I think I threw that into a crowd at Sexy Liberal.
Oh.
It is gone.
Oh.
Okay, Mike in West Virginia. Hello, Mike.
Good morning, Steph. Good morning, Chris. Nice to see Jim back in the studio.
Hello. Right.
That's terrific.
Someone just tweeted, Jim's funny. Can he be a regular? Yes, go to the donate button. Donate at StephanieMiller.com. All right, go ahead.
The Christian Baker, I'm pretty sure she said 2 weeks. I don't think that was 2 weeks in a row. I'm pretty sure Jesus has prayer waiting and prayer ID.
That's what I'm thinking. One would think. And what is Jesus' ringtone? One wonders.
Well, I'm going to go
Heavenly
knock
Choir.
myself now.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
I think it's
thank
Sexy
you.
Back.
Is it Sexy Back?
Yeah.
I think it's Heavenly Choir. I think.
How do you say I'm bringing sexy back in Aramaic, I wonder?
Oh, by the way, there's a tweet for Jim. Please ask Jim Ward Voices to explain what this Fosse Comitatus law is about.
Fosse Comitatus.
Fosse. Twyla.
Ask Richard Simmons. No. You know, Richard Simmons almost ran over my ex-wife.
Okay, I was. You know what? I was doing a joke in the thought bubble,
yeah,
but I would,
yeah.
I would say out loud. I'm reading yours. Okay.
Oh boy.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, we were watching. By the way, so I don't know if you were. We've been, everybody's been like catching up on the Robin Williams stuff. Did you see? Did you see the one where he was talking about the Last Supper and Jesus, and it was the beginning of sarcasm? It was hilarious. He was, because he said, before the end of tonight, someone's going to betray me, and John says, is it me, Jesus? No, John, it's not you. Simon says, is it me, Jesus? No, Simon, it's not you. Judas says, is it me, Jesus? And Jesus goes, is it me, Jesus?
Is it me, Jesus?
Oh, Lord. How about that ISIS? How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Almighty ISIS.
Kurdish forces backed by U.S. warplanes battled Saturday to retake Iraq's largest dam from...
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
From ISIS, whose latest atrocity was a massacre in a Yazidi village. Representative Adam Kinzinger, Republican of
We
Illinois.
need to crush ISIS. I understand that the American people are war weary, but in 5 or 10 years, we don't want to look back and say that we missed all the signs.
That's what you want, a crushed ISIS. Not shaved. You want a
Right, crushed ISIS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then someone always sets it to cubed, and you're like, oh.
I said crush, damn it! I said. Buoyed by the airstrikes President Obama ordered last week, the Peshmerga, lots of new words to learn.
Depeche Mode?
No, not Depeche Mode.
No, Pashmina.
Oh.
Peshmerga.
Thank you.
Have tried to claw back the ground they lost since the start of August. And so a senior official of one of Iraq's main Kurdish parties said 81 people had lost their lives in the Friday attack. The Yazidi activist said that the toll could be even higher. I know what the main question is. What would Sarah Palin do if she were commander-in-chief? Here's what she'd do, Jim.
I am always loath to see a deployment of our troops. Right. Trust me. I mean, some days I wake up thinking, maybe I'm the conservative version of Cindy Sheehan. Once in a while, I've thought that. Under this commander-in-chief, Barack Obama, I really thought, no boots on the ground. But times are different today, since this utter chaos has ensued. And this has been on President Obama's watch. Well, I sincerely don't want to see
Hold on for 1 sec. So, first of all, that's highly offensive in that your son wasn't killed in Iraq, which is why Cindy Sheehan became outspoken. You just want to be against the war because you want to undermine the commander-in-chief is what your point is, basically. Okay, no, continue, please.
No, I think it starts over if I...
well, you know what? That's probably enough.
Okay,
I think that's so good.
Sorry.
Who was it we were selling arms to so we could kill the Kurds? Oh, Saddam Hussein. Oh, yeah, Don Rumsfeld shook his hand while we were delivering chemical weapons to him.
Hey, remember, I know, speaking of all the oldies and goodies, remember the whole we have to fight them there, so we don't have to fight them here, we have to fight them there. Some douche on Fox said ISIS is already here.
Daryl ISIS.
Shaved or otherwise.
Daryl Icehole.
A conservative filmmaker on Fox and Friends said, I would guarantee you, in fact, I would bet my life on the fact.
Really?
I would guarantee
Literally?
you they're already here.
Bet your life on it.
Yeah. I have worked in the desert.
I've been to the desert.
And
on a horse with no name?
On a horse.
Been through the desert.
And I have caught these people before, and I've seen Koran's prayer rugs, you name it, they're already here.
Ah. I've seen rugs, therefore.
Right. I'm guessing with Ebola. I don't. Okay. Whatever. Fear-mongering. It's back. It's
Great.
back.
That's all we need.
Well, no need to fight him there then, because we're already here. Sure. So I guess he can just take care of it, since he's been in the desert.
On a horse with no name.
What?
Okay.
There's birds and sand and rocks and things and sand and rocks 'cause it's the desert, and some lizards and it's hot 'cause there's sand and it's hot 'cause it's the desert. My horse did have a name, but I can't remember it 'cause I've been out in the sun so long without a hat.
I don't think that's how the song goes, Jim.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, that's one of the later verses.
Oh, I
left
see.
out.
Or maybe they
too
did
long
some
for
judicious
Probably it's
AM
not
video.
the best subject for a song, now that I think about it. That's why people don't just add forest. I'll write a song about a forest. How about a mountain? No. Lake? A lake.
I've been through the forest and the rivers and trees, and it was a lot cooler than the desert
and things.
See? So not long before you get to Lake Ichigumi, right?
Right.
Okay. 46 minutes after the hour. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Now people can see you start to talk without turning on the mic.
I forgot. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. 51 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Jim's wearing his fancy vacation cap.
I went to Rancho La Puerta. Muy cerca.
Is that ranch the door?
Yes, ranch the door.
Ranch the door.
All right.
Just do it.
Okay.
Throw ranch dressing at the door right now. No, that's blue cheese. I said ranch.
All right. Clarification from last week. Some fun facts about Kay Rooney and rye. My landlady, I don't know why this came up. My landlady used to drink rye at 9 in the morning.
Right.
Kay Rooney, who was a skosh bit racist. We were talking, because I think in all the racial stuff going on in Ferguson, we were talking about, people that felt free to use the N-word because they thought we're all white here. That kind of. Mm-hmm. More importantly, Chris says, Steph, I'm betting Kay Rooney did not drink decent rye, especially in those days, circa late 1980s.
Rye wasn't a thing.
Rye was
then.
extremely out of fashion and hard to find. I'm betting Kay wasn't sipping a nice Weiser's rye in a black Manhattan. Well, she'd probably have a different name for a black Manhattan. I'm betting Kay Rooney threw back belts of old overholt meat, or maybe even straight out of the bottle. Okay. All right.
Did you ever see her drink her rye?
I did. It was normally in a glass, but it probably was pretty light when I was there.
With a little ice, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, just some grain sitting in a glass.
Yeah.
I think it's rye.
Some actual rye.
All right.
It's very dry.
All right. I think as we covered, there will be no Leslie cakes in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Because of a, Christian bakery.
Because of a 2-hour call to Jesus, or 2-week call to Jesus.
But was the cake leavened?
Every straight love story everywhere is beautiful, including this one. Woman steals wine to see jailed boyfriend in Love Story We Deserve, according to Gawker. Mm-hmm. Couple from Cedar Park, Texas. A woman actually stole a bottle of $3.99 bottle of wine in order to get arrested and see her beloved jailed boyfriend.
$3.99.
She stole a bottle of wine from a gas station.
Wine from a gas station.
Wow.
As you do.
Wow. Well, I've got gas from a wine station, but that's
different. Police found the woman outside the business drinking the wine. Classy. Affidavit said she told police she wanted to see her boyfriend, who was arrested hours earlier, and told them she wanted to go to jail.
Does she understand that there really aren't any co-ed jails?
I bet you anyone will bake them a wedding cake. Just saying. This is all kinds of wrong. Woman caught filming porn in church after viewer recognizes her boobs. Pretty sure this makes baby Jesus cry, whatever's happening in this story. Woman who filmed at least 2 sexually explicit videos inside a Catholic church in Austria.
Oh, well, Catholic church in Austria. There you go.
Was apprehended by police after one porn viewer recognized the church and a second recognized her breasts. One of the video in question shows the woman who performs under the name Babsy opening her top and caressing her breasts while holding...
Excuse me, sir, do you have the new Babsy movie?
It shows her opening her top and caressing her breasts while holding a Bible and a rosary.
Oh,
that's hard to do.
That's sacrilegious.
Right? You got to give her points for coordination.
Is she an octopus?
A churchgoer who saw the video recognized the interior of the building, notified a priest after the clip was played on the local news. A second viewer, apparently a big fan, identified Babsy's boobs and notified the authorities. Local Catholics debated whether the church needed to be reconsecrated, but ultimately decided to, as the woman's sins had not been enough to drive out God.
Oh, well.
You got to do more than that.
Well, just caressing the breasts, you know. But had she gone a little further, she would have driven God right out of it.
I think God's a little stronger than being put off by a set of boobs.
Well, he created him, so you know, he should be proud of it. Hey, look what I made.
Yes, and then he rested. Nice rat. And then he rested.
Mm-hmm. Okay. On the seventh day, he created Babsy's boobs.
Steve in Pennsylvania. Hello, Steve.
Hello. Sorry.
Yes.
Seventh day. When the cops released the video on Friday, I think it was more of a twofer because the Ferguson cops and the county cops were being made to look very bad by Captain Johnston and the state police. Because Thursday night was real peaceful.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I think the police chief came down and said, well, we can't have that. He's making us look bad. You know, we'll just make everything, bad under his watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it just...
Stir everybody up and,
Yeah. Well, it's the same kind of trying to smear the victim that went on with the Trayvon Martin case. By the way, I need to lighten things up from all the horrible news. And now, a story about a puppy.
Oh.
Did you see this one? This is a magical story. A little Siberian girl was rescued by her puppy after being lost in the forest for 11 days.
Oh.
She was 3 years old. She survived on wild berries and river water while her puppy kept her warm.
Oh.
Eventually, the puppy ran back to her village and led rescuers to her in the woods.
After how many days the puppy finally went for help?
It's a lazy puppy.
Yeah. Why did the puppy go immediately? Why did the puppy have to wait 10 days or whatever? Jeez.
That's exactly right. That was the moral of that story. Lazy,
stupid lazy puppies.
Stupid lazy puppies.
Siberian husky.
I'm almost freezing to death out here.
Why didn't he just use the cell phone?
Well,
this I am, you'll be surprised to know, not a doctor or a scientist. This
really?
seems unwise. Armed men stormed an Ebola clinic in the Liberian capital of Monrovia, causing up to 29 patients to run away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
What could go wrong there?
God.
A mob of several hundred residents on Saturday forced away a police accompanying burial team trying to sanitarily remove the corpses of Ebola victims. The mob then forced open an Ebola isolation ward and took several patients out. A growing public health obstacle in West Africa as people believe Ebola is a hoax.
And they stole a lot of the bedclothes and the clothing that these patients were wearing. Sheets and blankets and...
Oh, my God.
Wow. Do they have a version of Fox News there that's like science is a hoax kind of people? I don't know.
Apparently, yep.
Wow. Okay. What could go wrong there? All right, everybody. Ebola patients running free. Okay. Jim Ward, you remain a delight, sir.
Oh, thank you.
And where can we tweet you?
Jim Ward Voices.
Okay.
I love that we know and he doesn't.
And most importantly, his crossword's going very well.
Yeah.
All right, we will see you tomorrow on the Stephanie Miller Show.